Hello everyone, welcome to Wrath of Math. I'm your host, Sean Ian. In today's video, we will be going over exponents. What do exponents mean? What are they? Exponents are written as small superscripts above numbers. So for example, 3 squared, 3 to the power of 2, is written like that. We call this the exponent or the index or the power, and this is the base. So we could say this is 3 to the power of 2, or we could also call it 3 squared. Any number that is not written with an exponent, for example, if I just write 2, we assume that this is 2 to the first power, unless otherwise noted. But when we have something like this, 3 to the second power, this number up here, the index, tells us how many times to use this number in a multiplication. So for example, it means 3 squared, 3 times 3. We use 3 twice in a multiplication. One more example, and of course this would be equal to 9. If we look at 2 cubed, which is 2 to the third power, and all the rest of the exponents don't have special names. 2 is squared, 3 is cubed, the rest is just to the fourth power, to the fifth, to the sixth, etc. So this just says use 2 3 times in a multiplication, and that is 8. So 2 cubed is equal to 8. Now if we're dealing with negative exponents, for example, let's say 4 to the negative third, this tells us to use 4 3 times in a division. Now we could write this as 1 times 4 to the negative third, and that would not change anything. So we can effectively look at this as telling us to divide 1 by 4 3 times, which is equal to 1 divided by 4 times 4 times 4. You can see if we had some other number in front of the 4, for example, let's say we had 5 multiplied by 4 to the negative third, we could just divide 5 by 4 3 times, which again is equal to 5 divided by 4 times 4 times 4. And this would be 5 times 4 to the power of negative 3. But if you don't have any coefficient in front of it, you would just divide 1 by your base, the amount of times indicated by the exponent. The one other case we might have is if something is raised to a fractional power. If you have 4 to the power of 1/2, this tells you to take the square root of 4 and to raise it to the first power. So this is equal to the square root of 4 to the first power, which is just equal to 2. Normally when we see this sign, we think square root, which is what number raised to the second power would give us this number. But we can use this sign with any number next to it to indicate the second root, the third root, the fourth root, or whatever it might be. So for example, if we had I'm just going to put a little section in here for me to write this. If we had the square root sign, which is called a radical, with a 3 next to it, this indicates we're taking the cubic root, or the third root. Let's say we were taking it of 8, that would be equal to 2, because remember, 2 cubed equals 8. So if we have something to a fractional power, we take the root indicated in the denominator and raise it to the power indicated in the numerator. One more example of that would be 3, let's say, to the power of 4 divided by 5. This means we'll take the fifth root of 5, which is the number which, when multiplied by itself 5 times, gives us 3, and we raise this to the power of 4. Of course, this is going to give you some nasty numbers most of the time, but that's no big deal. That's what it means. So I hope this video helped you understand what exponents are, what they mean. If you're raised to a positive integer, that just means use the base in a multiplication, the amount of times indicated in the exponent. If it's raised to a negative number, it means use the base that many times in a division, which is equivalent to using the base that many times in a multiplication in the denominator. And then if a number is raised to the power of a fraction, you take the root indicated by the denominator and raise that to the power in the numerator. Also, one other thing to note, any number to the power of 0 is equal to 1. So I hope this video helped you understand what exponents are. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions, if you need anything clarified, or if you have any other video requests. I'll see you next time, and be sure to subscribe for the swankiest math videos on the internet.
I look better when you can't see me anymore.